All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back with the Thursday 12-game breakdown for the NHL. It's a different setup. I'm traveling on the road for my full-time gig here, but still wanted to bring you guys the winners. I'm going to go through a little different breakdown here, operating off of minimal screens here, but we're going to do our best to break it down and kind of show you some of my top stacks, go through some of my top stacks. We'll go over the slate breakdown, kind of what teams are sitting at the high implied totals right now, sitting at about 12:30 in Eastern time right now, 12:30 p.m. Obviously in the morning here, Thursday morning, mid-morning, early morning here, getting up and at them for you guys. Again, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton right here on this YouTube station. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers, so if you could do that, definitely appreciate it a ton. And in the comment section, drop your favorite stacks, your favorite plays for tonight's 12-game slate here. Obviously, we have Thursday Night Football as well tonight. Our guys, Hoop, Tambo, and Title will have the breakdown there on the Mayo Media Network YouTube channel. So head over there and check that out. And again, right now, we do have a promo code NBA10, get you 10% off any membership plan. NBA is right around the corner. We have you covered in terms of content, projections, tools, the Discord community, which is bar none the best in the industry. ShipItNation.com gets you access to that. Use code NBA10. Again, NBA10 gets you 10% off any of your membership packages on there, including our new 2-hour NBA course where Hoop, and Tambo go through the full breakdown for NBA DFS, what you need to have success with NBA DFS. This is a hockey slate. We got 12 games on the tap here. Let's jump right in. I'm going to talk about some team totals from the top right now. We have 2 7 totals on the slate. Toronto and Panthers is a 7 total. Toronto is a -130 road favorite there in that game in Florida. And then Vancouver and the Tampa Bay Lightning, Tampa Bay at home, -129 favorites right now. That is a 7 total as well. Couple 6.5 totals. We got the Flames in Buffalo. That game's basically a pick 'em right now, -107, -105. Sabres are at home. I definitely like the Flames quite a bit here tonight. I'll talk about that when we get into the top stacks. Looking at the another 6.5 total, we have Edmonton, who just dusted the slate 2 days ago. Absolutely went crazy. They're -204, biggest road favorite on the slate, facing Philly here. 6.5 total there. Edmonton has one of the highest implied goal totals on the slate. We'll definitely talk about them and what to do with the Edmonton Oilers. And then we got one more 6.5 total. It's the the Chicago Blackhawks at the Colorado Avs. Avs at home here in Colorado, -341, biggest favorite on the entire slate at home. It is a 6.5 total. In terms of team totals, looking at the overall scope of the slate, Colorado has the highest implied goal total right now, 5.66. It's sitting at right now. Boston closely behind, 4.6. Dallas at 4.5. Edmonton, 4.3. And then the Rangers round out the top 5 there in terms of goals, expected goals for 3.82. A couple of the lower tier teams in terms of the lowest implied goal totals on the slate. Typically want to possibly look at targeting goalies against these guys. You got Chicago at 1.3, 1.34. Sharks, San Jose Sharks there, 1.75. Anaheim Ducks, 1.83. And then you got Nashville and Philadelphia sitting right around 2.4. So that's kind of high-level overview of the slate here. I'll go ahead and jump into some of my favorite stacks of the night here. Starting off, number one, I'm going right back to the well with Tampa here. I think Tampa's on the best spot of the slate here. Got beat down back-to-back, actually 3 losses in a row. I think Tampa here at home. They haven't been home since the first game of the season when they dropped 5 goals against Nashville. I think this game screams Tampa Bay smash. I expect them to score 4 or 5, possibly even 6 goals here against Vancouver. I just think it's an excellent spot overall. Elite matchup. Tampa was the best best home scoring offense in the league last season. Vancouver was the third worst road defense in the league as well. Everything points to go crazy here for Tampa. Love this top power play for Tampa. Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, Victor Hedman. Mikhail Sergachev is up slotted right now on that top power play. Definitely keep an eye on if Steven Stamkos is going to play. If Stamkos does play, he will slot back into that top power play, and they won't run two D-men up there. Sergachev will slide back down to power play 2. It'll be Victor Hedman and then Stamkos up on that top line. And then another value play for Tampa here in a game where I think Tampa scores a lot of goals. Nicholas Paul, he's just 4K flat. He's going to skate on that third line, which I typically like third liners quite a bit more at home. And he's getting top power play run. So definitely like those. Love Tampa. Love the big dogs here. Hagel, who scored 2 goals the other night, loved him. Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov is my favorite full line stack. Obviously, they're going to get some ownership, but 12-game slate ownership definitely spreads on the slate, especially with some massive totals here overall. And Tampa lost 3 straight. I think they right the ship here tonight. They're my favorite stack of the night. Looking at the second stack, I'd be reminiscent not to go and check out our Connor McDavid and the boys out here who just scored 6 goals in Nashville against Saros, which Saros is a very good goalie, especially at home, and Edmonton just came in and punched him right in the mouth. 6-1 after back-to-back losses to Vancouver. I called that on the show thinking, hey, Edmonton's going to try and right the ship here. They definitely wrote the ship. And I was underweight, obviously, due to ownership here. I think Edmonton picks up ownership here again, but hard to ignore their spot. Connor McDavid has smashed Philly in his past. Last game against Philly, he had 2 goals and assists and 9 shots on net. He is 9,800. It is an expensive price point to play, but you can play this guy each and every single slate. Absolutely elite player. This guy can walk on water. He can do it all, go coast to coast, between the legs, round the loop-de-loop. I mean, this guy's scoring from all over. Connor McDavid, one of the best plays on the slate. No surprise there. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that. So I love McDavid. Leon Draisaitl absolutely murders Nashville. Didn't change there 2 nights ago when he put 2 through the back of the net there. Has decent success. Did have a goal last game against Philly here. And the game before that didn't really do anything. Didn't have any shots on net or anything. 8,800. I think he's fine. Gets very expensive quick because it does look like Kane, Draisaitl, and McDavid are up on that top line for Edmonton. That top line is very, very powerful. All 3 of those guys are very, very good players, but it gets expensive quick to stack them up. Definitely needs some value, which on a 12-game slate, we do have some value. Going to need to make some sacrifices if you want to full stack this Edmonton top line or top power play. Zach Hyman's also on that top power play. Think he makes some sense at 6,500. He's had a pretty good season. Obviously coming off a goal and 3 assists in that game against Nashville there. Now takes on Philly here, who Philly I don't think are very good at all personally. Carter Hart can always stand on his head. I think he's just outmatched in this matchup against Edmonton here. So give me all these top line guys. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I always have interest in this guy, especially on the road. I'm going to skate on that top power play as well, which is one of the most lethal, if not the most lethal power play in the entire league. So Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at 6,300, definitely have interest in him as well. So basically it's the big dogs are passed for me in Edmonton. They're going to get ownership. It's just there's a lot of teams that are going to get ownership on the slate. There's ways to get different in terms of stacking up in NHL DFS. You can grab some second, third liners, grab the second power play instead of the top power play, things like that to differentiate yourself a little bit. Another team I'm pretty high on here tonight is Minnesota. Minnesota just crushed Montreal 2 nights ago there, 5-2 win. I talked about Eriksson Ek being one of my favorite centers on that show Tuesday, and that continues right here. He's got a great matchup here overall. Definitely like Eriksson Ek, like I said, more on the road here, but in this matchup, I think he's definitely a good play. Looking at the Kings on the road last year, they were bottom 6 in the league in terms of goals allowed. Expected goals were there and had one of the worst penalty kills, sub 80% penalty kill. Gave up over 3 chances per game. So give me this Minnesota top power play. One of my favorite stacks on the board. They got the ship right there. Kaprizov had 6 shots on net last on Tuesday, scored a goal, 2 assists. That power play was clicking. So give me this top power play for Minnesota. One of my favorite spots in the slate. Kirill Kaprizov, Joel Eriksson Ek, like I talked about. Like him typically more on the road. A little bit off of him here, but he gets a great matchup. Centers have nuked the Kings last 5 games. So like him, Zuccarello, definitely pair him with Krill the Thrill Kaprizov if you are playing them. He's just 6K flat. That's a good price point, top line, top power play. Marcus Johansson is a nice value play for Minnesota. He's slated right now as it sits this time of the early morning here. 3,800, he is slated to be on that top power play. So nice little value play there. I like him quite a bit. And then Kalen Addison, a value D-man, 3,700. Top line, top power play for him. So 2 value pieces on that top power play definitely makes the stack cheaper. And I like them quite a bit personally here. Minnesota, I don't see them going to get a ton of ownership because they don't have the greatest implied goal total on the slate at just 3.1 games. Basically pick them here. Kings are good, but Kings are much better at home than they are on the road. So I'm willing to take some chances here at Minnesota at pretty low ownership. Next team on the slate, Calgary. And I think Calgary, I think this is a great spot for them. Obviously, back-to-back losses. They lost in Pittsburgh, in Washington. Close game there in Washington. Lost 3-2. I think they smashed Buffalo here. I could see 4, 5, 6 goals from Calgary here. And these price points for Calgary are extremely, extremely cheap. I think Calgary makes an elite stack on the slate. I definitely, in my top 5 on the slate, top line, top power play, second line, third line. I like them all. I mean, just to throw a couple names out, Backlund. I think Backlund's a great play. Jonathan Huberdeau is very cheap, great play, top line, top power play. Elias Lindholm is a little expensive, 6,400. Like him to be a little bit cheaper, but going to probably keep his ownership down because he is more expensive than Kadri, than all the rest of these Flames personally. So think he's fine. Dylan Dubé, I think is a great play as well. Nice value play there. Nazem Kadri has smashed Buffalo in his past. Last game, he's 4 shots on that, three blocks and assists in the goal last season against Buffalo. And that game was in Buffalo as well when Calgary scored 7 on Buffalo here. So love all these guys for Calgary. Rasmus Anderson, top line, top power play as well at the D-man, 5,500, kind of a mid-tier price point there. Matt Coronado, very good value play there, 3,900, sub 4K, skating on that third line, top power play, getting some nice power play time. And Mikhail Backlund, 5K. Don't think many people go to him at 5K on the third line. Going to be on that second power play. He's crushed Buffalo in his past as well. Has a goal and a goal and 10 shots on net in his last 2 games. And he's just 5K. So I think he makes some sense. So I really like Calgary here, especially at these price points. I think they go overlooked. And even if they don't win the game here, which personally I think they win the game, they can get there at these price points. That's what I like to look at in terms of DFS. Another team I'm interested in here is Boston. Surprise, surprise, Boston was the best team, regular season team in the league last season. Their goal differential was off the charts. They started out this year at 2-0. Obviously beat Nashville, Chicago, not 2 great teams, but they get another not great team here against San Jose, in San Jose, the Sharks. This is just a complete, utter mismatch here. Boston should smash this team, one of the highest implied goal totals on the slate. They are going to get ownership. They're going to be pretty chalky. That's why I have them down the board a little bit. But 12 games, again, ownership spreads in hockey. Don't worry about ownership too much until it's a small slate or typically at the goalie position. The big dogs are always in play each and every slate for Boston. Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, like those guys quite a bit. James Van Riemsdyk has been playing good. I like him personally more at home, so I'd probably fade that. 4,400, I expect people to probably go to him. He is on that top power play, so it makes it tough to fully fade it. He could definitely be a cheaper piece to throw into that power play stack with Pastrnak and Brad Marchand there. This Poitras guy is going to be up on that top line center. At least it looks like, or at least skating next side of Brad Marchand. He's 3,500. I think he's a fine value play, averaging 2 shots on net right now over the last 5 games. Think he's fine. He's had 2 shots on goal, like I said, both games so far this season. So he's fine. Kevin Shattenkirk, 3,200 at the D-men. I think he could definitely do worse. He's going to typically get you that shot block upside. He's had 3 blocks in his first game. Going to shoot the puck a little bit. I think he could definitely do worse as a punt D-man in a game where I think Boston smashes him. He's going to get some power play time as well. So at just 3,200 at a D-man, he definitely fills that void right there. So overall, Boston can't go wrong. Focus on the top power play for me, but the 2 main focal points are definitely David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand for Boston, which is no surprise by many. But again, ownership's going to spread on this slate. So definitely have some interest in them. And then the sixth team, the last team I'm going to talk about here, obviously there's 24 teams on the slate. You can't play everyone. I went through, picked out my 6 favorite stacks. So that's kind of where I'm going right here, giving you some plays from those stacks to kind of round out your teams. Again, all my final content and slate plan, everything like that, projections, everything you need will be up on SHIPITNation.com. Again, promo code NBA10 does get you access to all of that content. And just a note, we cover NFL, MLB, NBA, PGA, MMA, NHL, which you see right here, and plenty of other sports in the Discord as well, which you do get access to if you do use this promo code, sign up for a 6-month, a year package, or a monthly package, excuse me, and get 10% off. So SHIPITNation.com, definitely head over there. Last stack I'm going to talk about here is the Dallas Stars. Dallas, pretty good favorite here overall. Think they're in a great spot here against the Ducks. The Ducks were the worst home defense in the league last year, allowing over 4 goals per game, allowing the most shots on net per game, almost at 40, and had the second worst penalty kill in the entire league. So love the Stars in this one. They're going to get ownership. Typically, chalk Stars don't do too well. They were pretty chalky against Vegas last game, and laid an egg. They were pretty chalky against St. Louis as well, only scored 2 goals. I think that changes here. I think we could see 4 or 5 goals here from Dallas on the road, even on the road. My main focus is that top power play. So you're looking at guys like Jason Robertson, the best player on Dallas, has great history against the Ducks. Last season, he did score a hat trick in one of the 3 games against the Ducks. Just continues to fire the puck. Elite talent, has been held he's been held pointless this season. Hasn't had many shots on goal. 3 shots on goal through 2 games. I expect that to change in a big way here, where centers have 8 and up. Anaheim pretty good in terms of a matchup perspective. Rupia Hintz, top line, top power play. He's had pretty good success against 7,700. We were playing a higher price point than that last year. Jason Robinson was up over 9K last year. So you're getting a little bit of discount on these because the guys haven't been producing much to start the year here. I think that changes tonight. Joe Pavelski, top line, top power play. That's a full line stack, full power play correlation. I always like that as well, if you can fit it in there. Miro Heiskanen, one of the best D-men in the league, goes significantly overlooked each and every slate all the time. And he quietly always gets the job done. I mean, he's averaging 3.5 shots on net in his first 2 games here, 6 shots on net the first game, played 28 minutes, played 25 minutes last game. He's going to play 25 to 28 minutes. He's getting you the minutes. He's on that top power play in a great matchup against a team that can't stop the penalty kill in terms of last season numbers. And then Jamie Benn is the other value guy on that top power play. Doesn't have the greatest history. Don't love him a ton, but going to be the lowest owner of the group probably at 5K because he is on that third line for a full stack there. So definitely like these Stars. Think they make a lot of sense personally overall. Let's talk on some of the goalies that I'm looking at tonight here. My first favorite goalie on the slate, I talked about Minnesota already in terms of liking them. I'm going right back to Gus the Bus. Philip Gustafsson is my favorite goalie on the slate. 7,800. Held these Kings last game he faced them to a 33 save win. Saved 33 or 34 shots. Again, obviously we saw that 41 save shutout game 1 of the season at home against Florida. Struggled a little bit in Toronto, but very good offensive team with Austin Matthews. Obviously scored the hat trick in that game. He still saved 26 shots, gave up 7 goals. I think that changes. He's back at home. Again, Minnesota is a different team on home ice. He's my top goalie on the slate at just 7,800. Love him quite a bit. My second favorite is all the way up at the top, 8,500, Alexander Georgiev. Probably butchered that name, but that's all right. The Colorado goalie, 8,500. He's been great to start the year, 3-0. I think that continues here against Chicago. Obviously, I don't think Chicago stands a chance in this game against Colorado at home in this one. So give me him as my spend-up goalie all the way up at the top. Third goalie on the slate that I'm looking at, Adin Hill. Adin Hill does draw a road matchup here, but he is sub 8K. We haven't seen this guy under 8K all season until last game against Dallas at home and did pick up the win. Obviously, he's 3-0 on the season, giving up, 4 goals in 3 games, which isn't very good. So definitely like him at just 7,900, same price point there, same sub 8K. I like him quite a bit. I think Vegas wins the game there in Winnipeg. So like Adin Hill as a road goalie. One of my other favorite goalies up at the top, a little pricey, Igor Shesterkin. I just think he's a very, very good goalie. He's 8,200. He is the highest projected goalie as of right now on the slate. Obviously, projections are going to change and update throughout the day. And we will have that all up on SHIPITNation.com. But Igor Shesterkin here against Nashville at home. I think the Rangers can win this game. Igor, very, very good goalie, 8,200. I like him a lot as well. Two more goalies I have interest in is, and one of them is the Edmonton goalie there, Jack Campbell, who obviously just went absolutely bonkers against Nashville, stood on his head, saved 42 of 43 shots against Nashville in Nashville. But game one of the year, he gave up 4 goals. I expect some regression here, but he is 8,200. I expect Edmonton to kind of lay the hammer on Philly here, even in Philly. But you could make a case. People are going to play Edmonton, and people are naturally going to go to Jack Campbell too, especially when they look at that game log. See, he just came off the perfect lineup in terms of a 42 save win there against Nashville. I like him, a little bit underweight. I like Shesterkin more. I like Gustafsson more. I like Aiden Hill a little bit more, Georgiev more. So he is definitely kind of a distant fifth for me, but do think he's fine at 8,200. And the last goalie I will talk about on this slate is Juuse Saros. Obviously, Saros hurt pretty bad against Edmonton, but that game in New York there between the Nashville Preds and the Rangers. I mean, Preds are plus 160 road dogs here, but Juice, I mean, 3 of his last 4 games, he's done pretty well against the Rangers. He's got 2 wins in there with a shutout. So at just 7,200, if you do need salary savings, you can punt with Saros here, because the one thing that New York is going to do on home ice is fire the puck. So he can get you there even in a loss at that price point. So I'm definitely looking at that. I'm going to talk through some value plays that I'm looking at each position, starting with the center position. Then we'll talk wing, D-men, and then get on out of here and try and keep this to about 30 minutes or so, 35 minutes. First value I'm looking at the center position is Casey Middlestat. This is a pretty good play. He is 3,100, gets a tough matchup. I like the Calgary spot, but I do expect goals in this one. Has 2 goals in his last 2 games against the Flames. I'm a big history guy in terms of hockey. It does me pretty well for whatever reason. I don't make it as a sole deciding factor, kind of like BVP in baseball, but definitely do look at it. It's done me pretty well. And Casey Middlestat at 3,100 here at home, third line, which I typically like third liners more, second power play time as well. He's $600 over min price. You can definitely do worse, and he's getting power play time. You're going to see about 17 to 19 minutes as well of ice time. So Casey Middlestat, I like quite a bit as a value center. Another value center I like on this slate is Wyatt Johnston. I talked about Dallas. I like Dallas quite a bit here. 3,800 for Wyatt Johnston. It is on the road. He is a third line center, which I typically like playing more at home, but he gets second power play time as well. Average right around 3 shots a game so far. And at 3,800, I think you can definitely do worse. So John Gibson, like I said, is allowing over 4 goals per game. Anaheim gets beat up pretty bad by centers overall. And Anaheim allowing over 14 shots on goal per game to the center position. So Wyatt Johnston sub 4K, I think makes some sense there. One of my favorite value centers on the slate, William Karlsson. This price point is just wrong. I mean, DraftKings is just getting this wrong. I mean, he's been pretty good this year. Like to see him shooting the puck more, but he's going to get 15 to probably 17 minutes, 3,700 here. Like Vegas to score some goals here. And he does get power play time as well. So 3,700, like him quite a bit. And then I already talked about this guy, Matthew Poitras. I'm going to go back to him. He is slated to skate next to Brad Marchand on that second line. They're going to get second power play time as well, and gets San Jose, who I don't think San Jose is any good at all. One of the best matchups on centers. Last 5 games, they've allowed close to 80 DraftKings points to the center position. So I do like Matthew Poitras at just 3,500 from Boston. Jumping into the wings, some value plays for the wings. First one, Max Domi. This guy, sub 4K, gets Toronto here in a 7-game total. Third line, second power play time. Like to see him shooting the puck a little bit more, but you could definitely do worse. It is a 7-game total. It's kind of just a bet on talent, or a bet on a game total, game environment there that's going to be up and down the ice, at least expected according to Vegas. So Max Domi at 3,900. Have a little interest in him as a value play. I'm going to go black. I'm going to say tonight is a Blake Coleman night. Talked about Calgary quite a bit. Blake Coleman, 3,400. Don't talk about this guy too much, but I like this third line for Calgary here. Blake Coleman, Mikael Backlund, and Coronado. I like this third line. I like Calgary 1, 2, and 3, all 3 lines tonight. And I think Blake Coleman slots right in. Already talked, might as well loop in Coronado there as well. Coronado for Calgary. You can add him, pairs up. Like I said, that third line is a nice price point. They get some power play correlation there. They're going to see minutes, 14 to probably 18 minutes combined there in there. And Blake Coleman averaging over 3 shots per game over the last 5 games. So like him. Another guy I'm looking at, again, right back to these Flames, Jonathan Huberdeau. I mean, this guy's just priced at 4K, top line, top center, or top power play, playing 18 minutes plus in his games here. Gets a Buffalo matchup where Buffalo can be beat by Wings here. Pretty solid matchup, 4K flat for him. Top line, top power play, playing over 17 minutes. That's just a misprice in a game where I like Calgary quite a bit to score. Like I said, 4, 5, 6 goals here on Buffalo. I like them quite a bit on this slate. So Jonathan Huberdeau at just 4K, definitely have interest in him. Already talked about Matt Coronado for Calgary as well. So a lot of Calgary value plays. Talked about that when I broke down Calgary. The reason I kind of like them is a stack here. All their lines are affordable. They're in a good matchup against Buffalo, who bleeds some goals, especially at home. So give me all these Calgary Flames. Last guy I'll throw out is just a bet on talent. Blake Wheeler, right wing for the Rangers here at home against Nashville. He's 3,200. Man, this price point is pretty criminal for him. Don't love his line mates, but he does skate with, Vincent Trocheck, who I do have some faith in. So Blake Wheeler at just 3,200. If you need a punt, you can definitely go to him. I think he makes some sense. And it's just a bet on talent there in terms of Blake Wheeler. A couple D-men I'm looking at. Chris Tanev, I think makes some sense again. Back to that Calgary team. These Calgary pieces are just super cheap, man. I expect them to get some ownership, but if you pair them with the Wild or one of these other lower-owned teams that don't have a massive implied goal total, you can get a little different there. So 3K flat for Chris Tanev. I mean, he's been good, 11, 6, 11 in his last 3 games, 18 minutes, 16 minutes, 19 minutes. Last game against Buffalo, he had 5 blocks, 2 assists, so he's involved. Third line there. Like I said, going to play close to 20 minutes at 3K flat, $500 over min price at the D-men position. So like him quite a bit. And then a couple Carolina D-men. First guy, Jacob Slavin. 3,800 for him, 18 DraftKings points, 13, 17 in his last 4. And he got a $200 price decrease here. Matchups in Seattle, so not the greatest matchup. Seattle's pretty good against the D-men, but he's getting on that top line, going to play minutes. I mean, 18 minutes, 19 minutes, close to 20 minutes. He's probably going to play here between 17 and 20. And at just 3,800, I think he makes a lot of sense. And then another teammate here, Brett Pesce. I definitely have interest in him as well. I think him at 3,900, a little bit more expensive there. Second line there, 3 DraftKings points in his first game, which was a dud, but then 15 and 16 back-to-back. Didn't get any price bump or anything. I think he is fine. Had some pretty good success as well in his pass against Seattle. So sub 4K for him, I think, is a good price point. And then the last guy I'll throw out. Obviously, there's tons of plays on the slate. I could sit on here for 2 hours and go through guys. But the last guy I'm going to talk about is Ekholm out there for Edmonton, 3,500. Think he makes some sense. Again, Edmonton, I expect them to score a lot of goals in this game. So grabbing a value D-man there who's definitely involved in the offense in Matthias Ekholm, I think makes some sense at just 3,500. Threw a lot at you, talked fast. Again, sorry about the lighting. Sorry about the setup here. Doing my best from the hotel room here. Again, just hit 1 a.m. So grinding these winners for you guys. Again, if you guys could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton over here at SHIPITNation.com. One more time, NBA10, SHIPITNation.com. Again, use code NBA10, gets you 10% off any membership plan. We got content, expert content, core plays, slate plans, projections, tools, the Discord community. We got a new correlation tool coming, ceiling rankings coming as well. And we also have NFL, which is obviously Thursday Night Football Showdown show tonight, and content for that. MLB, which obviously in the playoffs, we continue to print in the playoffs there. NBA, again, shortly, quickly approaching. PGA, MMA, NHL. We got all the sports for one price. NBA 10 gets you 10% off of that. Again, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and watching these shows. Again, in the comment section, drop some of your comments that you have in terms of your favorite goalies, your stacks, what you're looking at, what you like about these shows, what you don't like, what you want to see more of. Taking a little bit different approach on these massive slates just to speed it up for you guys. But that's going to do it. I appreciate y'all watching. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on your way out. Good luck in your contest. Let's